Okay, I'm going to demonstrate something that's very simple and extraordinary. Okay, so I'm going to just put the number 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. Okay. Um, Using standard Excel, I could just say equals and go like this and then copy it down. Okay, that's easy. That's E4, E5, E6. Okay, all that's very standard Excel. Standard every spreadsheet. Now I'm going to demonstrate something that cannot even be done in Google Sheets, but can be done in Excel. So we're going to go to Formula, Define Name, and we're going to do the word prior. I'm going to change this to Sheet 1. Now here's where it gets weird. So G4, I'm in G4 right now. Okay, you can see it's G4 over here. So I'm going to just say this equals F4. Okay, so it equals F4 without any dollar signs. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. And now I'm going to say equals prior. And I'm just going to take the same equals prior and go here. Now, so this is equals prior all the way straight through here. And now it's all the way over here. All right, so now let's say you wanted to do something like months. You do we'll put in 1 over here, and you say equals prior plus 1. And now you go like this, and you got it all over there. Okay, so now every formula here is exactly the same wherever I go, except for that first one. Okay, it's all the same. Now, if I were to do it the standard Excel way, I would do 1, and then plus equals that plus 1. Oops, plus 1. I get the same results, and now I copy it over. And if I go here, it's E11 plus 1. This is F11 plus 1. This is G11 plus 1. Okay, so it's changing every time I move over, but on this row, it's prior plus 1. Okay, so now that is really somewhat magical, because there's a big advantage of having the same formula in every cell, which I'll get into in other videos. But let's just take a look at how this performs when you insert a column. So if I insert a column here, look what happens. So first of all, in this case, all these priors, they go to 0 because this is 0. And this is just prior, 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 prior. And this is prior plus 1. So here's prior. It goes, you can see the cell beforehand is 0. So it's prior plus 1. Now when I inserted here, it didn't, it basically created a jump. So now this formula is no longer like this formula. All right. And that introduces a lot of potential errors that are very easy to create in spreadsheets. So this formula now is different from this formula. See, this one is going to 2 before, and this one is going to this one before. So now all of a sudden, like let's say you want to copy something over, you can go like this, and now it's a complete like disaster. Okay, and they get 7-1. It just crazy. I'm going to undo that. In this case, it's still wrong, but at least you can see it right away. In this case, you don't see it until you want to use it for something else. So it's like, so let's say like on January 1st, you insert this column, then you come back February 1st and you forgot the formula has changed, and you try to use this formula and you just think it's going to work, but it doesn't work. So it introduces an error. In this case, you see right away, you've got a problem. Okay, and then you can address it in another way. So what we've done here is we have these relative formulas. All right, so now let's take a look at the define name. This is really interesting, and this is where it takes some thought to see what's going on. Okay, so now, actually I'm going to go to, not that define, I'm going to go to the name manager, define name manager right here. Okay. Now look at this crazy thing. This is so confusing until you get used to it. But basically, when the define name for this cell that I'm in right now, which is I10 prior is equal to H10. Okay. Okay, even though it's the same defined name, and if I move it over, I have to close that and go back over here. Now if I say name manager, it's F10. So every time the name is, you look at the name, it has a different formula. And it's based on where your mouse happens to be at that time, or where what cell is being activated at that time. So now this is N10. Every time you look at that formula in the defined name, it's going to look different. So that name is relative, that refers to, is relative to where you are over here. So that takes a little bit of getting used to, but there's a lot of advantages to it, and you'll see later on as I progress with these videos where some of these advantages are. I mean, at the very easiest level, I mean, you got to appreciate that every cell has the same formula versus every cell has a different formula. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Okay, there's a lot more to come that will utilize this general principle to build very sophisticated spreadsheets with just a few formulas, because this is really just one formula prior. So and also opens up a lot of new doors for the conditional formatting. So a lot of interesting things are coming with this technique. And it's all built into standard Excel, nothing special, no VBA, and it's super fast. And it actually makes the file size smaller, and it's not available on Google Sheets. And I really like Google Sheets. There's a lot of beautiful things about Google Sheets, but Google Sheets is missing this feature.